touch the earth. So historians believe that the pyramids might represent rays of sunlight further connecting the pharaohs with Ra, the sun god. So that's what the famous pyramids of Egypt were all about. These magnificent tombs for the pharaohs who ruled Egypt during its early history pointed toward the sun, because the sun god was the primary focus of ancient Egyptian worship. The civilization, ancient Egyptian civilization, revolved around worship, and their primary worship was to worship the sun god, to worship the sun. So obviously it was false worship. So the obelisks built by the ancient Egyptians had the same purpose as the pyramids, to point toward the sun as the supreme god. All right? So these stone needles were actually intended to symbolize, also like the pyramids, the rays of the sun. In addition to pointing worshipers toward the all-seeing deity they imagined the sun to be. So
Yeah.
you can see some of these Egyptian obelisks not only in Egypt itself, but also in many of the great cities of the world. Go to New York City, for example. There you see it in the pictures, to Central Park. And you'll find an ancient Egyptian obelisk that goes all the way back to the time when Moses and the children of Israel were still slaves under Pharaoh. So we're dealing with ancient history here. All right, so in ancient Babylon, you can also find buildings oriented toward the sun, like those that appear to be stairways to heaven. The original Babel, described in Genesis chapter 11, was more than likely built with this in mind. So, when you study ancient pagan religion, you find sun worship everywhere. Human beings who departed from the worship of the true God chose to worship the sun as the ultimate source of life, instead of worshiping the one who, according to the Bible, created the sun. In other words, worshiping something of creation instead of the creator.